Rightio, for Southernbred, Southern Red and NZB, promoting the NZB yearling sales coming up by the 15th of February at Karaka. But more importantly for today's show, on the 18th, Tuesday the 18th of February at Christchurch. Catching up with a couple of guys from SBSR. Mark Smith, firstly. Welcome back, Mark.
How are you, Paul? How's it going, mate? Good to talk to you again.
Been a little while since we've spoken, but it does come around very, very fast. And we'll touch on the Shard Farm draft and a couple of the horses in a minute. But it's been a pretty good year for yourself and Deb.
Yeah, we've had a good year. We when the fields are drawn for the New Zealand Cup, we had two in the initially there was two in the top five. Max Shard, he won the two Group 1s last year, and Dalton Shard. So I mean, when it come to race day, they didn't race terribly well. It wasn't kind for them, but to actually as a breeder to have two starters in the Cup was a pretty special year for us, and we it was great fun.
Yep, and we're going to touch on a few of your horses, and I want to ask a question about the spelling of one. I think you might have done a mistake, but that's okay. We'll touch on that a bit later on. Megan Reidie, firstly, welcome to Campbell's Comments for the first time, and thanks for joining me for SBSR.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're selling a horse for the first time, and we'll touch on that a little bit later on in the show. We're going to talk about a few other things, but you play a little bit of you wear a few hats. You're worse than me, if you like, down south. One, for starters, you're a vet.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've been a sole equine vet for 6 or 7 years now.
Yep. Always been down south, like that's sort of, or did you move down south with your veterinary practice?
No, so I'm born and bred in Invercargill, so I'm a Southernbred, Southern Red as well. And I've done one stud season in Canterbury, and then all the rest have been in Southland. Yeah,
and it would have its challenges, and we're going to talk about that. One of the, I suppose, things we want to talk about today is the longevity of horses from down south. But I'd imagine for a vet, it must, I live here in Victoria, and we hear about people struggling to get them to cycle because of the cooler weather. Must be a headache sometimes for you guys down south.
Yeah, it takes a little longer for sure down here because of our daylight and stuff. So it does take a bit longer, but once they go pretty good. Yeah, and away they go. And we will touch on that. You also wear another hat, though. Did you say you're president, of the Southern Breeders as well? So that would be a pretty busy little job as well, and trying to make sure that the breeders down at the bottom end of New Zealand get looked after, I suppose, and the recognition they deserve. Yeah, that's basically the things we aim for is to recognise what our breeders are doing, help promote breeding as much as we can, and obviously get as many foals on the ground as we can too. Yeah, and
both you guys were saying just before you were able to get Brad Steele down there, checking out and understanding, I suppose, the challenges and also what you guys are trying to achieve down south. So it's great that he is getting down there. He's an they've organised a few initiatives, Next Generation and those things, but I suppose they need to be aware of what's going on first before they can say, let's try and steer it in this direction or that direction to try and help fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you need to be aware of exactly what's happening, how many foals we're getting, how we're getting them, and then obviously make sure we've got plenty of places to race them as well.
Yeah, we will touch on a few other things as we go along. Mark, we are selling 52 yearlings this year in Christchurch. Unfortunately, we've had a few of them miss. That's on the 18th of February, as I said, on a Tuesday. I think everyone's going to arrive from memory on the Saturday. The Saturday. Everyone will be arriving on the Saturday, and the yearlings will be there from the Sunday at Christchurch. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We're travelling our draft up on the Saturday, and most vendors in Southland are doing the same thing. So if anyone wants to come along on the Sunday and inspect Southern Red horses, 90% of the draft will be there. Yep. So we can guarantee that most of them will be in the staging area.
And NZB are promoting the Monday, not as a parade day as such as an inspection day. We want everyone to be there from everywhere to inspect as many of these yearlings as they can, because Tuesday is going to be a full-on day. The sale starts at 11, but it's going to be a massive lot are going to go underneath the hammer. So we want to make sure that people get there on that Sunday, but definitely the Monday, because everyone will be there ready for horses to be inspected. And they're a pretty key, important couple of dates.
They are indeed. Yeah, we do stress that people have done their inspections, looking at videos and photos, because on the Monday, your vet's going to be busy and doing vet inspections, and just make sure everybody's done their homework and inspected the lots. And once again, our tour is very important for that on the 10th and 11th of February.
Yep.
Got about 35 people coming down, and that's going to be good because I'll see them once again on the farms in the flesh, and that's very important that they are doing all their homework before the fails.
And that's exactly what I was trying to do, was get people to be aware 10th and 11th of those parades, but that's booked out anyway. So the now infamous, you got to go looking after the fish too, don't you? Do you have to go, Megan, do you do that job? Do you have to go out into the beach? Every time I see a picture of you guys out there, it's a horrendous day getting out there and whatever. I'm not even sure what you're chasing.
It's called tarawa. It's a delicacy for some people. Some people either love it or hate it. I love it, and you've got to get a special permit off the local iwi to get 90 to 100 shellfish, and you go out at low tide, dig them out of the sand, throw them in a bucket, wash them out, mince them up, and put them into a patty. It's beautiful, beautiful, mate.
Megan, I was told a few years ago when I go down south, I have to have the white bait, and I'm still scarred by it. It's it's not up there on my. There's a lot of things I'll stick up for with you guys down south, but your white bait, you can keep it. So, but that's okay. Rightio, let's get to the serious part of today's show. One, we again want to promote that there are 52 yearlings now going through the sale for SBSR, and every one of those lots can be inspected and looked at. Today's show is going to be a little bit different, with a few little highlights, if you like. But we're basically going to be talking about the longevity and the durability of some of these horses with SBSR, Megan. And there's a few reasons, I think, for that. And having been down south last year and seeing it, I suppose climate is a unique one that we touched on just before, but it definitely must play a part in raising, good, strong stock that seem to last the test of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's Southland's very well known for its grass for all classes of stock, and the horses down here just thrive. We've got those long daylight hours, so the grass can maximise the energy to grow, and then we obviously have the slightly colder winters as well that helps balance out their growth throughout that first year of their life too. Yeah,
I was talking. It was Katrina Price was saying to me yesterday that she was listening to a thing from Gay Waterhouse about buying sprinters as compared to buying stayers. And, one of the things she said, the colder climate, the slower growing horses, they're the ones you get your longevity out of, which is pretty much what we're talking about here. The fact that these horses doesn't mean they can't go, because the quality of 2-year-olds that have been bred through SBSR has been outstanding. But there is a little bit of merit behind the method behind a Gay's madness, if you like, in that the colder climate can slow down a horse's growth, which means their bone density is a lot heavier.
Yeah, so it's the excess growth that causes the issue, and it's sort of between those 3 to 9 months of their life that are really important with their skeletal growth. So it does sort of, proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Look at how good horses go.
Yeah, and we will touch on those. The summer days were outstanding. I think it's bright from 5 o'clock basically through to 10 o'clock. And as a person who lives in the middle of Australia, it's quite unique. It doesn't slowly go dark. It's at 9:50 can be full bright, and then at 10 o'clock you're completely dark. It is very different that time, but that's through the summer months. But beautiful days. I think I've had one bad day down south. Like in summertime, it's amazing weather, isn't it?
Yeah. It sure is. It's beautiful, clear days. I mean, we have a lot of rainfall too, especially this year. We're getting plenty of rainfall, so the grass growth is just unreal.
Yeah, and then the other part, Mark, with the climate, especially some of those farms inland, like Arden Lodge, Juapika, those beautiful rolling big hills. They're not excessively steep. They're just lovely rolling hills for young horses to get fit on, I suppose, running up and down them.
Yeah, we went to the Roxburgh Trots on about the 6th of January, and just driving through Tapanui there. It's a beautiful part of the country, and if people haven't been there, just have a look up on Google, Tapanui and Arden Lodge. It is a beautiful part of the country, and there's always, once again, good grass growth, temperatures. And John Stuyven gets a lot of snow in the winter, so they do get cold. every now and then, yeah, he gets snowfalls up there, and you're dead right. It's a beautiful part of the country to be raising horses.
He's got a lovely paddock out the back of the cemetery. I don't think he owns it. I think they just leased it, but sounds a bit morbid when you say at the back of the cemetery. But it's just, for mine, just what you'd like. Like, I'd love to be able to build a track in it. It's just a wave. It's just like something that comes in out of the ocean. It's just got those gentle undulations that are, the horses would always be walking and always building bone, building muscle.
Yeah, dead right. I mean, the hills are always good for them to muscle up and that. And unfortunately, our farm is pretty flat. But yeah, when you get those farms, it's good for the young horses.
Proof's in the pudding. I'm not sure which one of you guys wants to discuss this, but some of the quality stock that have come from Southernbred, Southern Red, and there's plenty of others. The one thing I want people to be aware, the first 4 horses here raced for 8 seasons, and then Perfect Stride is in his 7th season, but he's not finished either. So, 8 seasons, that's what when you go to a yearling sales, that's what you're after in a way, is to be able to have a horse for a lifetime, is it not?
Oh, I absolutely agree. Just highlighting Chicago Bull, he came over to New Zealand and was going to have a tilt at the New Zealand Cup, and he had an unfortunate incident, I think, up in Auckland. He flipped over and hurt himself. I mean, he was in such good form, he probably would have taken out the New Zealand Cup, but just tragic circumstances. He got injured, went back to Western Australia and kept on winning. So, and then the Mighty Quinn, he's still the richest horse ever bred in, out of New Zealand, full stop. So the Mighty Quinn is still the richest horse ever. And
the fastest horse Gary Hall Jr. has ever driven, point to point. Not anyone wants to correct me, they'll say, oh, he hasn't got the fastest mile rate. No. He always says for 200 metres, 300 metres, 400 metres, he is the fastest horse he's ever sat behind. What he does to a sulky is just brutal. So that's a big rap for a guy that's driven a lot of horses. The top horse, Bernie Winkle. There might be some people in some states, maybe even in New Zealand, that probably have never heard of him. But look at that, 307 starts, 65 wins, $800 and something thousand in stakes, 850, I believe, and just a journeyman. And with a lot of these horses, both Mark and Megan, probably look like they've a couple of times, like Bernie Winkle. I think it was about 6. He looked like he was nearly at the end of the road, if you like, and finished. Chicago Bull had that accident. They come back. Give them the right time, that they're able to recover and come back. And I presume Bernie's retired, but you never know. He might just pop up one day very shortly too, because he's just an evergreen. He used to go to Mildura every week. It's a 4-hour drive, 8-hour round trip. He just jumped back on the float the next week, and he was the king of Mildura there for a long period of time. So it is amazing. Perfect Sting, the bottom horse, he'll probably be racing this week, next week, and continue to do great things.
Yeah, and as you said, it's Perfect Stride. As he said, he's still racing, and that's great. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, when you go to the sales and buy a horse, I mean, people do like to have nice 2- and 3-year-olds and get a return on their money. But if they can still be racing 5 years later, I mean, it just helps the whole thing. I mean, they're easier to, the progeny, the next lot going through the sales, they're probably a bit easier to syndicate, because you're going to be buying some part of the family that have hopefully got the same longevity. And
great word, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it's great that they are racing as older horses. Yeah, absolutely.
And Megan, social acceptance, I suppose, is one of those things that everyone battles with now in the world, and racing has its challenges. Longevity is one, less wastage. We want people to be able to buy a horse and have them for a lifetime. And that's, again, fits that Southernbred, Southern Red, those horses just there. And we're going to highlight a couple others in a second. But all of those horses there, as I said, 8 seasons. So you've basically owned them for over 9 years, and they're delivering a return. And Perfect Stride, as I said, he's only on his 7th. That's the only reason I don't mention him. Of course, for Sharky, we better not forget him too. 53 wins from 140 starts, just under 50%, $1.8 million. And again, one as a 2-year-old. Chicago Bull won as a 2-year-old. I don't think Bernie won as a 2-year-old. I think he won as a 3-year-old, and the Mighty Quinn obviously didn't either because it wasn't there. But it is a social acceptance thing, I'm sure, with your veterinary hat on, that we've got to be aware of. Megan, and SBSR, I suppose, are exactly what our industry needs: longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when they're racing at that age, they're obviously sound, they're happy, they're still performing. so it's a very good outcome for everybody, the breeders, the people buying them, and everybody watching them too.
Right, I'm going to highlight 2 other horses. This is the reason you guys are both here. Max Shard for yourself, Mark, 117 starts, 20 wins, $840,000 in stake money, and just an absolute revelation. Went to New South Wales, came back, and probably took it to a new level in his last full season of racing.
He did. He definitely did take things to a new level, because we were on track when he won his first group race, the Young Guns final. We went up there to support Barry Purdon and Trevor Casey and the team that bought him. Went up there, and there was just Barry drove him that day, and that was just fantastic. Very, very wet track. He won the Young Guns final. Then he had a great year. His 3-year-old year wasn't great in New Zealand, but then he went on, and then he was racing in Australia. I think he won a Group 1 over there, and then he was all set for the Hunter Cup, and he went got a stone bruise. The connections are saying he's all set to go really well. The old story, got a stone bruise, had to be scratched. Then he raced for another 3 or 4 years over there, and then Barry brought him back to Auckland, and they were ready to retire him, and he put him in the paddock, and they call him Shardy. Shardy was running around the paddock, kicking his feet in the air, and Barry put him back into work. And then, of course, as you all know, in April or May last year, he came out in the Taylor Mile and Messenger and won both 2 Group 1s within 2 weeks. And so it just goes to show he was a 9-year-old when he raced then, and he beat the 4-year-olds, the up and comers. So it still can be done, and we've just loved watching his whole racing career, right across Australia and New Zealand. And we all know he is now retired, and he's in the show ring. And there we go.
That one.
Yeah, that one. So he went to the North Island Standardbred show about, I think, last weekend, and he got reserve champion. So there is life after racing, and a lot of people still get joy out of them, which is all part of our game. I mean, and that's a great part of our game, that someone can pick them up and have a lot of fun with them as well.
The one thing, again, back to that longevity and what we're talking about and social acceptance, he affected so many people in a positive way, Mark, when we talk about this horse. And you see the 3 girls here on picture, all of them beaming with a smile of him, this infectious horse that, like I think he was 9 and 10 when most of those pictures are taken there. And just great to see that the girls that touch horses every day still have a fondness for him. But we've got to remember, Crystal Hackett got her first Group 1 win out of him as well. Scotty Phelan gave him a hell of a, great feel. They affect this. They're so great for our racing product, what these horses are able to do. And don't forget, he was a sale topper as a yearling. So he ticked a lot of boxes. He made a lot of people very happy. I'm sure yourself and Deb were pretty happy that year, Mark.
We were very happy. I can still remember the auction as clear as yesterday. I was standing there, I think Ben Corder was standing near me, and we'd sold a couple of $100,000 horse, and I said to him, "Is that 150?" He goes, "Yeah." And I'm going, "God, this is getting up there." And then I'm standing right by Ray Green, and he puts his hand out, five like that to the auctioneer, and they go 195, and I go, "This is territory we've never been in." And then Barry coming at 200,000, and and that was just great. And to go and win $800,000, that's ticks in the box for everybody involved in that one. Absolutely. Yeah.
No, it does indeed. And we'll touch on maybe a couple of the progeny there in a sec. So the other horse there that was on this list before, Megan, for yourself, Galactic Star, another horse with amazing longevity, 162 starts, 37 wins, $850,000. There is about $20,000 difference in the 2 horses in prize money. Went to Western Australia, was just a terrific horse for the guys in Western Australia as well. Just trying to quickly work out how many. He didn't win a Group 1. Never knew that. Actually, I always thought he did win a Group 1, but just a phenomenal performer on the racetrack. And again, that longevity, that great longevity of being able to race right through till he was 9 years of age.
Yeah, I think he's had a few Group 1 placings, and he won it into Dominion Heat.
Yep.
And he actually won his last race just a couple of months ago. Well, his most recent race a couple of months ago. So yeah, he's been around for a fair while.
Yeah. And we've got a couple of horses related to him, but these are horses we need to highlight, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, so many people remember when he first started racing in Southland. So yeah, but a lot of people remember him right from the word go. So for him to still be doing it now, it's pretty cool.
Before we get on to a couple of these yearlings that we want to highlight, Megan, a lot of people would be aware of McAndrew Aviator, a horse that you bred. Was he bred down south?
Yes, he was born at Macca Lodge.
Yep. So and he typifies that because he's not finished yet.
No. Hopefully he's on his comeback trail.
He keeps getting better, I think. Like, he's the sort of horse that continues to improve, and you never know. In a couple of years' time, you might be enjoying the same ride that Debbie and Mark did, albeit sitting from afar. Yeah,
I hope so. He still needs a Group 1 under his belt, that's for sure.
I will say a little story again. We'll get onto these horses, but I was down there last year, and Mark and Deb were ever so excited to see Mark Shard's coming back to race and all the rest. And I remember, I'll be honest, Mark, I walked away and I thought, oh yeah, he'll be just making up numbers. There'll be no worries there. I ate my words, and I didn't have to tell anyone that. That was just something I said in my head, but I will be honest, I did say it. And that's again, longevity, durability, sustainability, and that's what we need in this industry. Megan, let's go. We'll highlight this little bloke here for yourself. This is lot 184. This is the Bettor's Delight out of Petra Star. This is a colt that you'll be offering up. This is the only one you are offering in the sale?
Yes, and he's the first one we've had there. Yeah.
So this is your maiden voyage at selling a horse through the sales. He's actually named McAndrew Maverick, which Tom Cruise. Is there a tie-in with that, or is there another reason for it?
No, there's not. No, my partner Jeremy just said the name. His actual stable name is Rocky because he was like Rocky Balboa when he came out.
Okay.
So the Maverick's just kind of gone with that.
For starters, he ticks that box. One, he's a colt. Everyone loves the Bettor's Delight colts at the sales. Out of a Christian Cullen mare, so he ticks a lot of those boxes. Has Falcon Sealsa, again, back in that next generation as well. So he ticks all the right boxes as far as people in the breeding barn. Looks a lovely type as well.
Yeah, he is. He's a classic Bettor's Delight. Like, he's that beautiful, compact type. He's nice and straight, and he's got a lovely nature. He's just willing to do anything. So, I think he looks like a 2-year-old type. So, see what happens.
And as they do say, it's a cross that works. We talked there about a Galactic Star being a full brother, but you've also got Topeka Trick and Better Star, both full brothers, both winning, or full brother, one's a sister who's retired the stud, but both winners. Topeka Trick has 21 USA wins on top of 4 here in Australia as well. So, she's 250,000. It's interesting. That is a terrific family, and then goes back to Caesar's Folly, of course, and Topeka Tiz. So it is a great little family for people to be able to get a look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they leave them everywhere, this family.
They do indeed. Is it a hard sell?
No. What do you mean?
Is it hard for you to sell him instead of keeping him?
Yes, it's very hard. Yeah. His mother is a lovely mare, and it is a hard sell, but we want him to have the best opportunities. So,
Before I go to Mark, you're a professional. You're a professional in the industry. You probably have to tell people to make the hard decisions. Do you find yourself torn sometimes when you come home and you're like, I tell Mark and Deb they've got to do this, but I don't want to because this is my baby, not their baby. Sort of. Do you find that a little bit of a juggle sometimes?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, in my job, I can be very pragmatic, and this is what has to be done, but it's very different when it's your own. Yeah.
It is indeed. Mark, there's a couple of horses we were going to highlight. I've got the full run sheet. I've got everything. One thing I didn't write down was the other ones we were going to highlight. Before we actually get to those, I did want to make sure I mentioned that in this draft of horses. Actually, I'll do it at the end. Which were the ones we were going to highlight?
We Victory March as well. There was Megan's one, McAndrew Maverick, and then Victory March,
which is lot
205.
Thank you. That's what I needed. That was a part. I knew the victory, but I didn't have the next part done. Your videos and photos are up too, so if anyone wants to to see, you can get in there. This is a down by the seaside. This is a filly out of Shard's Echo, a changeover mare herself. And this goes back to Max Shard back there in the second dam, Smiling Shard, both out of Sly Shard, as is Shard's Echo. So very closely related to Max Shard.
Yeah. So the Victory March, the dam is a half sister, of course, to Smiling Shard, Max Shard, and Pemmin Shard. The dam itself has left Soho with Pavan Shard, and that Mountain Enforcer, third horse down.
Yep.
Ken Barron's got that, and he has got a little bit of a lung infection at the moment. He said, yeah, he'll win 2 or 3. He's a big rock roll dance, but he's just a little bit crook, but he'll do the job. And then talking about the filly herself, she's a lovely, well-built filly, straight, confident, has attitude. She's first into everything, and she does everything well, and she's always willing to work with you, and just an honest, lovely filly to handle.
Good strong body too on her by the looks there on that picture, Mark.
On body there too, yeah,
and go from there.
Yeah.
And of course, then we go back to that family, and she's very closely related because with Max Shard being a Mach 3 horse, this horse was by Seaside, of course.
That's right. Yeah,
Sun Beach, and then you get that Mach 3 cross back there. So it is a cross that works.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it is good bloodlines that do work. Correct. Yep.
Now I think there was one other one we were going to highlight. Oh, actually, hang on. I've got to go back to one question. This is serious business. This here, I need to know. So the horse's name, Victory March. Where's the R come from?
Well, we're not just.
Shouldn't it be Victory Mac?
No, you are no. It's not a spelling mistake. No, sometimes we don't always put Shard in them. Like we just see names we like, or we dine at a restaurant, or we do an event, or we visit an overseas country, and it's not always Shard. And
no, but
yeah.
the Mac.
I say Mac Shard.
I was like, well, surely that's a spelling mistake. Surely Mark's filled this form out and not Deb, and he's done the mistake.
No, it's not a spelling mistake. It's a name we liked, or an event. So that's how it was Victory March.
I was always going to ask you the hard questions, Mark. You knew that. Now there is one for the Arden Lodge as well that we were going to highlight with that same similar family.
Lot 242, which is related to Galactic Star too.
Galactic Star, sorry. Yep, that's right as well. So this is Arden's. Yep, Arden's Orion. Another of the Seasides out of the Art Major mare in Chuapika Art. And again, there on the second. So Chuapika Art is an Art Major filly out of Petra Star. So she's a sister to Galactic Star. So it is very closely related as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Johnny hasn't got his photos up yet. We'll give him a wrap over the knuckles for that one, but that is okay. So that is lot 242. One thing I want to say, the draft for the team at SBSR, we want people to go and have a look. Firstly, I'm going to do this because I found something out when we were talking to Katrina and that the other day. The gentleman's name's forgotten. I've left his name. That doesn't matter. A lot of people sometimes not sure exactly how to use the search bars, if you like, on the website. So this is the NZB website. So just go to nzbstandardbred.co.nz. You click on the upcoming sales, go into Christchurch section because these horses will be sent south. And then it's this search bar here. The easiest way to find out any of the SBSR horses is just type in SBSR and you don't even have to hit enter. Once you do that, it will then filter those through to show the whole 52 lots that will be going underneath the hammer, and you'll be able to click on any of those. When the photos and the videos come up, we'll give Timmy White a bit of a wrap here. This is a Tomoko, so he's got his photos up and done. Just click through your photos. It's very simple to do that. I want to make sure I can get back out of it, but unfortunately, I must have done that wrong. Yeah, I think I did. I'll try and show that again. We'll bring this one up here for Shard Farms. Don't do what I did. You can't see it actually. I clicked on the back arrow at the top. All you do is click the cross and go from there. This horse here, this is one of Mark and Debs as well. This is our Shard farm. This is another down by the seaside out of Ideal Legs. Now, the reason Megan's probably thinking this guy's all over the shot. He didn't tell us we're going to be doing any of this. What a great name, Mark. I'm going to give you a compliment for this one. It took me a while to work it out. I'm looking at it. I'm like, what does that say? Legit or whatever. Leg it to the beach. And it's by Ideal Legs. So I think that's a great name. Obviously, Debbie came up with that name, Mark.
Sorry, I'm just getting a glass of water, mate. Sorry, just come back into the
I was giving you a rap for Leg It to the Beach. Did Debbie come up with that name?
No, that's Malcolm Little, a client's horse. Yeah, so we call her Legs for short. So that's Malcolm Little's horse.
It's one of those names that I do like. A bit cheekier than me walking off on me while I was doing that. But please, and then as I said, when you click back the arrow back, and you'll come into we'll go in Rusty Neville's horse here, and you can go through those. Of course, next generation eligible a lot as well. A lot of the horses here are, but if you just go, you click back once, and still the whole draft for SBSR is there represented with so many people. Macca Lodge, I think I'm going to have the boys on in a couple of weeks as well. We're going to highlight a few more of the draft, so we have plenty there going through. Was there anything else from you, Sue?
No, I think we've just a wee comment once again, just to do with the breeding of horses down here. A lot of our people in the SBSR group are also farmers. There's 3 or 4 that actually breed it, so they also have a good eye for stock. So once again, it's just doesn't matter whether you're breeding stud sheep or stud bulls. It's basically the people, part of our group, are good farmers, so they have good livestock skills, which all helps in the whole presentation of their horses.
And the one thing I will say too, both to yourself, Mark, and I was going to get a picture up for this, but it doesn't matter. Of your draft of 52 horses, 10 Seasides are on offer, 7 Better's Delights, 5 Lazarus, 4 Mickeys, 3 Sweet Lou's, and 3 Father Patrick's. Again, a stallion that doesn't get enough credence for the job that he's doing, Father Patrick in the trotting barn. But then you've got Better's Wish, 1 Over the Moon, or Captain Crunch has got 3 as well. And of course, he's next gen eligible. Stay Hungry, Lather Up, King of Swing, first season for King of Swing, and they'll go under the hammer. Of course, a New Zealand bred horse. Bold Eagle with 2, Vincent with 2, Rock and Roll Heaven, Tomoko, the horse I just showed there before, Tall Dark Stranger, Orlando Vici, the sire of Just Believe, Captain Treacherous has only got the 1, What the Hill, Majestic Sun, and Art Major, all represented in the draft of SBSR horses. So I think one of the other things is that people are aware of commercial stallions. You listen to any of those horses, and they're commercial stallions that stand up. So the breeders, you say there before about being farmers, Mark, but I think they understand exactly what people need, if you like, to have in their racing barn to have that longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, and as you said, there's a great representation of stallions, across the trotting and the standard breds, and it's just that's what we're promoting here, is the longevity of the SBSR horses. So rather than just getting a horse that's going to race for 2 or 3 years, hopefully you can get 5 or 6 years or 7 years out of our stock.
Yep. Yeah, well, 8 seasons. I mean, we showed some of it.
That's right.
At the highest, but that's, I think, what we all need, and we must mention the next gen stallions. I'm going to go. Well, I don't think I'll get into trouble, but I definitely know Captain Crunch, Lather Up, King of Swing, Tomoko, Bold Eagle. I'm going to get into trouble. Someone's going to tell me off.
You're doing very well off your head.
Hey?
You're doing very well at the top of your head.
Tall Dark Stranger may be one as well. Actually, he will be. So, so quite a few next-gen horses as well. So an amazing opportunity to get new people into the game, but also, some great initiatives there from HRNZ. I probably should have had those ones worked out, but and Better's Wish, he'll be one as well because he's his first season as well. So going from there. Little bit of a different show today, guys. I think it's instead of highlighting a heap of individual lots and that I really enjoyed, I think people need to be aware of the job that SBSR are doing and will continue to do, because it's designed to go forward. I think that's one of the great things about SBSR. So I really do appreciate that part of it. Megan, are you going to be breeding more numbers in the upcoming years?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a couple of foals this year and a couple more coming, and yeah, we would sort of like to look at a couple more broodmares as well. So yeah.
Do you enjoy it as a vet? Sort of coming home and still doing the work, and I mean that cheekily, but it is a labour of love. But sometimes you might end up looking a little bit like me if you pull all your hair out.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, there's nothing like seeing that wee black dot on the screen to show that the mare's in foal, and then yeah, all that time later they come out and they're what you've wanted. It's pretty amazing. We do a lot of it at work, but I'd love doing the ones at home.
Social acceptance, and that are big on this. It's a way we've got to look for different to our industry. I wonder what some of these lay people that sit in a New York high rise and they come across some standardbred person, they put a picture up of a snowy screen with a white circle and just say happiest day about. They must think we're nuts. They must think we're crazy when they look at it.
Yeah.
That's one of those random ones. Very good. Anyone wants to get in touch with any of the people with the part of the SBSR draft, we'll go for the guys at Braveview. We'll get a wrap this time. Braveview Limited down south. I forgot their names, but I did meet the whole family last year. But if we hit that button down there, all phone numbers are down the bottom, just above the stakes engagement. So any of the people, we can go back. We'll get someone else's phone number as well. We'll get the guys at Macca Lodge a bit of a run down the bottom, and all phone numbers are down the bottom. So if you're from Australia and you want to ring any of those, just change the 0 to +64. Yes, yeah, +64 to ring New Zealand. Was it +6? Shouldn't have said that. Work out the New Zealand code and you'll be fine, because I get myself confused because I do it both ways. But make sure you do that. Don't forget, for NZB, of course, they are selling at Karaka on the 15th. So that's Saturday, the 15th. And then everyone heads to Christchurch for basically a 3-day lead up. Sunday, Monday, and then selling on the Tuesday. 11 o'clock sale starts. It will be a long day, but it'll be a great day with all going under hammer. 52 lots for Southern Bred, Southern Red. Get in touch with the team at nzbstandardbred.co.nz. Didn't change that one, Marky. Look at that.
You didn't know. We've had a few draws, as you can see.
I pointed out that it's a mistake and people will see it. But of course, but all horses will be on the premises from the Saturday. Hopefully everyone will be definitely there on the Sunday. Monday is an inspection day, and it's a great opportunity with all horses being there. No time restraints for people to get around and make sure they look at all these horses. Megan and Mark, thank you very much. Really appreciate you giving me a bit of time on a Sunday to highlight these horses. It's more about the longevity, the durability, and we want to keep selling that out as to what SBSR do. But I suppose the other part is high-class horses. Horses like Republican Party stepped out last night, done a great job. We need to continue to make sure people are aware of these horses and the job they are doing for our breeding industry.
Absolutely. In the race last night, there was Tech McLeod and Republican Party ran second and third in that Casey Classic last night. So both, born 20 miles from here. Yeah, born and bred. Yep.
Mark, I'm going to kill you. Why didn't you tell me that before? We could have gone with that one before.
Did you not look up the result of the race?
I knew Republican Party, but I didn't know. I was going backwards and forwards with Katrina questioning a few of the horses last night, and that making sure that I hadn't missed any. And he went enormous. Tack McLeod. He was terrific. I mean, he's chasing. I think the best horse. You guys didn't get to see him, but currently the best horse in Australasia, and he did an enormous job. Worked hard early, and and he kept finding the line terrific. So and he's a Southern Red as well.
Yep, Diane's breed, yes.
Unbelievable. I have to have words with him, Megan, that's for sure. Megan, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. It's good to be here.
And Mark, thank you very much for joining me as well on a Sunday.
Thanks, mate. Great to talk to you again.